Welcome to this session of Connecting with Our Destinations, where we're learning about what's going on across the United States from our DMO members. I'm Lisa Simon with the International Inbound Travel Association, and we're here today with Michelle Conway, Interim President and CEO of the Sedona Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much, Michelle, for taking the time to be with us today. We're really anxious to hear what's happening in Sedona during this coronavirus. We've seen Arizona kind of go up and down, and we'd love to hear what you've been experiencing and what you're expecting in the coming year.
Thank you, Lisa, for having me. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're thrilled you're here. It's so good to talk to you, and wish we were there, or I was there personally with you in Arizona. So let's turn our attention just quickly to the coronavirus. What's the situation in Sedona with COVID-19, and where are you, I guess, in your reopening plan?
Yeah, so we're fortunate. We were absolutely hit hard in March and April, as I'm sure many of us were. And but what we saw shortly after that is a pretty quick rebound, which we were obviously very grateful for. We have seen average daily rate actually outperform last year, which is very interesting.
Wow.
Really proud of our hoteliers. Our occupancy did just a really good steady clip of improvement through the months, and we are actually doing very well in occupancy right now as well. We just last month in October, about mid-month, through our weekly STAR reports, we recognized an 89% occupancy rate, and that was one of the highest readings I've seen in the last 10 years that I've worked here. So it's incredible what's happening. A little very grateful, but also a little unusual as we're trying to understand how this is happening, and also who we're seeing. And I can share more about that too. The type of visitor we're seeing is a little different than normal.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that, because it is unusual from what other destinations are experiencing.
Mm-hmm. We offer luckily for us, we have the product and we have the environment that everyone in this COVID madness really gloms onto and really wants to go to. Luckily, we were perfectly positioned for this, if you can consider that a blessing for COVID. But it's just that we didn't have to make a lot of changes to who we were and what we offered when this hit. We are a small town. We have nearly 2 million acres of forest land surrounding us. We have over 400 miles of trails for hiking and biking. We're an outdoor playground, and that is exactly what people are needing right now. So I think that obviously really helped us considerably. I mean, we've seen ourselves outpacing the state overalls, and absolutely, and looking at our poor southern larger cities down in the southern end of the state and the struggle that they've been in. So I know we were primed and very fortunate to be in that situation. But what's unfortunate that we have seen is I think a lot of travelers who maybe have been anxious to get out, of course, get a little bit of cabin fever, and one of the best forms of entertainment during this weird phase of life that we're all experiencing is the outdoors. But a lot of these folks haven't either grown up in that kind of environment as far as preserving the land. They maybe haven't heard of leave no trace principles. They maybe haven't traveled to, state parks, or just haven't spent a lot of time outdoors. So what's happening is we're getting a lot of kind of novice outdoorsy people, and there's been a lot more negligence to the land, trash, much more trash than normal in Oak Creek and our waterways, and it's just very unfortunate. And then initially we saw this happening. We were speaking with our Forest Service counterparts, and then we started to see this kind of national trend picking up in other beautiful areas. And it's unfortunate, but I know it's coming from, again, people that maybe not as familiar with how to work with the land and be one with the land and preserve it and kind of blend into the community that you're traveling to. We were just bombarded, with a lot of visitation of people that maybe didn't understand that and kind of share the ethos that we embody. So that was a challenge.
Yeah, that is really interesting. And hopefully those people will find that was one of their best and most interesting and exciting trips that they've had, and they'll get outdoors more often
Yes.
and really learn that. But I think that is really interesting, and with all of the issues that some destinations have had, that's definitely a unique one.
Yeah, it's required us to, luckily we have all of these things kind of naturally in place anyways, as far as working with the Leave No Trace organization. We've got a 5+ year sustainable tourism plan that we're in the middle of executing. So we come with a mindset and the tools to communicate to our visiting public what they need to know. So we just needed to kind of ramp that up and make sure that that message got out there more. Through our visitor center, through our newsletters, through our partnership with Leave No Trace, we're able to kind of educate. So we got into a real deep education place with Leave No Trace, as well as some of the other items I'll share with you as far as masking up and whatnot. So.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, we'll go ahead and go into that, because next I want to ask you just kind of what the rest of the year is looking like, but go ahead and fill us in on that as well.
Yeah, so we have obviously with COVID hitting us, we a couple months in, or even further along that line, after we kind of reopened and then then we spiked and the state shut down again. The summer months were difficult, but we primed our businesses with a Sedona Safe, Clean, Ready campaign that enabled them to basically kind of use CDC guideline check marks for how to operate safely. And we have about 300 businesses signed up now at this point as being deemed safe, clean, and ready. And then we help promote them specifically. I mean, we are a membership organization, so we continue to promote all of our 1,000 or so partners or members, but we do shine a little bit more light on those that are safe, clean, ready. And we've developed a whole website. Folks can see it at sedonasafecleanready.com. And so that's one way that we are able to share proactively with our visiting public how they can feel good about coming back and visiting us again. That we are just as much vested in making sure their experience is a positive one, as well as making sure that our residents are just as protected from them. You know, I mean, so it's we need to be in this together. And I know you're probably hearing this from all the destinations right now, but it's I think it helped give some comfort and confidence from our businesses to know that we were, out there in the forefront doing this on their behalf. And then also some comfort from the visitors coming and looking at us as a destination, that this wasn't something that we were taking lightly in either direction, either from them or our residents. So on the resident side, we've really been pushing a mask up campaign. Once in June, we had a mask mandate put in place by our city office, by our mayor. And we developed a mask up campaign that has really nice, bright designs that really pop on the streets. We have A-frames all over our main visitor corridors and kind of leading into some of the residential area. But the idea is that we're asking everyone, basically, if you're outside, if you can't keep social distance, you need to be masked up. So that's a message we're getting out through, like I mentioned, A-frames, social media, print advertising, radio, the whole gamut. And it's funny, when we launched that, I thought, by October we can assess and see if we really need to keep running it. It's like, yeah, we need to keep running it. So that'll run indefinitely. We'll see how long that needs to run, but it's something that the rest of our region adopted as well, and is kind of mirroring, so that we're trying to, as an entire region, be safe, clean, and ready, and then mask up.
Yeah, that's great. And that it's an ongoing campaign, and you have the community, the travel community there participating in that. So what does it look like for this fall and the remainder of 20? And then if you want to, kind of lead us into 2021, what your expectations are.
Yeah, so we, the fall season, fall has been killer for us. October, those were some of the numbers that I was mentioning earlier. And naturally that is a peak month for us. So we were lucky to see that again. And now we're starting to see a slight downward trend, which is typical for us. We usually quiet down in November. We ramp back up around the holiday, Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And then and then it'll quiet down again. And then between Christmas and New Year's, we have some business, and then we're quite quiet in January and early part of February. So if we anticipate as much as we can that is going to be the rhythm and the typical trend, then we are entering a slower tourism season right now. So we are seeing a couple hundred fewer at our visitor center. So it's starting to look like that's what's happening. So to that end, we did launch we haven't been marketing or advertising except those kind of mask up and safe, clean, ready messages in market. We haven't really been doing any kind of visitor attraction advertising since March. So we just launched a couple weeks ago a room to play campaign, which is similar to like a room to roam. I know there are some other destinations that are leveraging that room, that expansiveness. And that's exactly what we're doing. Again, we're fortunate as a destination to truly have the room. And so we're making sure that all of our creative references that kind of just expansiveness and that natural environment with a lot of room to breathe and walk and play and hike and bike and Jeep and the whole thing. So we're making sure that message is out there, and we'll run that through the slower winter months. So yeah.
Sounds fantastic.
It is, and it's honestly a wonderful time to come. I've always liked the winters because it is a quieter time, and you might not have as much traffic or crowds at the stores and things like that. So it really is a good time to come, and it's beautiful. Occasionally we'll get a light dusting of snow on the red rocks, which is just exquisite, but it's never enough to keep you in, so you can still get out and golf or anything. It's a really beautiful outdoor playground.
Great destination. So, most of our tour operator members are inbound operators. They're doing international business to the United States. And obviously that's not happening right now. But what are they're keeping in touch with their partners, and their partners want to know what's happening across, the United States, since there is so much diversity in destinations and what they're seeing and how they're opening and how they're not opening. So what are your expectations for international visitors? Have you been in contact with your clients overseas, or your inbound operators, partners?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a very dedicated sales team here that is maintaining communication and relationships with our travel trade friends. And one of the ways that we've been able to do that is through, webinars, interviews, podcasts. And a lot of what we're communicating on the domestic consumer side is very much what we want to share on the international travel trade side as well. The fact that we have had really good numbers indicates that people are comfortable in coming here. We do have all of the expansive outdoor opportunities. We have a really beautiful year-round destination that is making sure that we're safe in this time period. So when we are able to, naturally open back up fully, as far as internationally, we're just looking forward to getting back to more face-to-face, sales efforts and meetings. We really miss meeting folks in person. So, but yeah, we've been in touch. We did the Brand USA Travel Week last week, and
Great.
Go West Summit, and so we've been able to really do most of the programs that we would, as long as they were virtual, mostly. Yeah, and I understand we just did a trade show last week, so that was the first one that we were able to do in person down in the southern end of the state, and that was interesting how folks are trying to just still meet but do it safely. So, but yeah,
it's a new way, but we have to learn and we have to adapt.
Exactly. It's tested our flexibility.
That's true. What about meetings and convention or events business? What's your expectation for that?
That's a great question. I think that's an area that's obviously been hurt, and I anticipate that will improve. We are a small meetings destination where so we only have a few properties that can accommodate a mid-size group, small to mid-size. I would say the majority of our business is FIT, the majority of our tourism. So, but we do accommodate small groups and events. So as soon as, and our hotels are ready, it's just as soon as everyone else feels comfortable doing it too and gathering again. We're starting to just see how the partners in our businesses are accommodating, groups under 50 is the most we can do at this point. So we're adapting now. We're absolutely adapting. We've got a very professionally run group of hoteliers and professional, tourism industry folks here that just want to make sure that everything is done right. So I think that's the great thing about us as a destination. I think we've always been, all throughout this whole process this year, we've been very conscientious about what we do and the steps that we're taking, both personally, professionally, business-wise. And I think that it's kind of paying off at this point. So that's helping us.
Yeah, very smart.
Yeah.
As I said, our members are inbound, receptive to our operators, and their partners we're going to be sharing this with as well. So what would you like to say to those who are, working on the international markets and bringing them back to Sedona?
Well, we have primarily in the past, our focus areas have been Canada, Europe, so more like in the Germany and France area, and Japan. Those have been markets that we've put a lot of attention towards for, the past 20 or so years. I would just like to say that certainly we're open to discussion, open to business, as soon as international travel is. We offer everything as a small destination. You'd be surprised for a destination of 10,000 residents that we see 3 million visitors a year. So we have a level of sophistication. It's really the best of both worlds. That's how I see it. We have a small town charm, and we have this incredible beauty and also sophistication in the amenities that we offer. So it's really a beautiful mix of offerings to any visitor.
That's fantastic. I'm anxious to get there. I love Sedona. I love really all parts of Arizona, but Sedona is always, it's a gem right there in the state. So yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
it really is. Thank you so much, Michelle. We appreciate your time today, and we appreciate your efforts to restart travel, particularly the international visitors coming back to the United States and to Sedona.
Yes, we can't wait to invite everyone back.
Hear, hear.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.